One of the amazing things, we were in a session, and we were talking about the digging, the picking, and I just said, Kelly, you know, there's certain things that have to happen in your life where you're going to get that in alignment. It's going to happen. It's going to rock, and you're going to be able to go, I've succeeded past this. I've gone past this. And as we were working through this session, different things. So I've been in natural healing since 2002. I've been an instructor since 2008. And I am very intuitive. I work chakras, meridians, arc levels. But beyond that, I also work in higher frequencies. So we bring higher frequencies into the session. And then I work, something that is specific to me is heart tones and brain channels, which is connecting the heart and the mind together. When you connect the heart and the mind together, then you have action to belief and belief to action. And when you've got those two things manifesting together, you can go forward in what you're doing, and you can do it very powerfully. So anyway, we were sitting in the session, and I said, Kelly, you know, you just have so many stories. Did you just love all of her stories? They're just so enthralling. She just grabbed her heart, and she's just like, whoop. Anyway, so we were sitting there, and I said, you really need to speak. You really need to get out there. You need to share your stories. And I really think that's going to be one of the things that's going to help move you to the next level with the digging and the picking. And I'm so glad she was so open, because I can then be open too. I hope that's okay. And so as we went through it, this was probably about a year ago. And she's like, okay, we'll do it. Yeah, okay. And so I said, okay, Kelly, you ready to put something together? You know, I'm so busy, I just can't. And then, you know, I'd let it rest for a little while. She'd come back and I'd say, hey, are you ready? You know, I just got this going on, I just can't. And finally, with the help of Nathan, we were like, okay, we're going to do something. Let's get it together. And we were going to do something in November. Then we were going to do something maybe the first part of December. And then we were like, solid. We're going to do January. And I booked the place, and she's like, there's no back down. You're upfront and personal. So I'm so grateful for that. And I'm really anxious to be able to see at our next session where this has taken her, where she's able to move to her next level. So I just love Kelly. I have so much gratitude for her, and I have gratitude for each of you. Like she said, when we put out that gratitude and we put out that love, we are able to build that within ourselves, and we're able to move forward with that gratitude, and we're just a powerhouse going forward. So tonight is a dynamic event, and dynamic means that you're open, you're ready for change, you're ready for activity and progress. And when you're a dynamic person, you're positive in attitude, full of energy and new ideas. So hopefully you felt that here tonight. That's the direction that we're going with the dynamic. I want you to know that with each of you in this room, each of us have that central core, that central value system, the belief that runs our direction and the direction that we want to go. Kelly touched on values, talking about how when we're true to those values, true to that core center, that we're able to then choose our higher power and choose our personal power that is strong and going forward. And when we have that intent, the intent that says, okay, my core is here, my values are here, and I'm going this direction. When you truly believe that, you've got that path going on, you are able then to create higher level things in your day, every single day. You just want to focus on being able to say, what is that core? What value am I looking at? Am I striving for today? When you have a deep desire to become the best you possible, like Kelly mentioned, that's when things start to click, things start to connect, and they move forward. So I want to know, we're going to do a few exercises here, so we're going to get a little excited here for a minute. What I want you to do inside, I want it to be the inside thing. Okay, so we don't have to be shouting and being so excited this way, but I want the enthusiasm to come on the inside. And I want you to think about how your core lines up with the direction of the dreams that you want. So bring that in. I want you to bring in your core values. A lot of times gratitude will start the process. It's a good thing. So you need to focus on some gratitude, bring that in, bring that up into your heart. And then I want you to take a moment and I want you to visualize what you want to do this year. So as Kelly said, we want to be able to make it to our dreams. We want to be able to make things happen. So think specifically, what is it that you want to accomplish this year? It could be a list of 2 or 3 things. It could be one specific thing. And then I want you to attach that enthusiasm of gratitude to that visualization. I'm going to give you just about 30 seconds. Okay, now I want you to picture your brand of emotion that you've got going on here. If it's gratitude or if it's something else, whatever is going on, is your brand in alignment with your goal or your visualization for this year? So think about, is this feeling inside strong enough to move you to your goal? If it's not, then we need to amp it up a little bit more, okay? So the next thing I want you to do, this is going to be a little bit off here because I know people get in their comfort zones, but I want you to stand up, okay? Can everybody stand up? Okay, now I want you to feel that gratitude in your heart, and I want you to just gather it up with your arms, just get some movement going, gather it up, and I want you to feel that gratitude, and then I want you to turn to someone, and I want you to give the gratitude to them. Oh my goodness! Woohoo! Right. Okay, now when you accept the gratitude, I want you to take your arms and just accept that gratitude into your heart. And then I want you to look him in the eyes and say, thank you. Thank you so much for that gift. Okay? Okay, this is a way that we amp up our personal power every day. Every day, when you give away a positive emotion to someone else, what comes back into your life? Is it negativity? Of course not. So you're going to get, when you give out gratitude to give that gift, and then everyone smiled, the energy went up, and you were able to bring in 10 times, 100 times what you gave away. Does that make sense? Okay, everybody can sit down now. Good job, you guys are good sports. Okay, so now with your visualization, okay, I need a raise of hands here because if I've gone too fast, then I want you to be able to say, oh, slow down. I want you to raise your hand if you have a visualization of what you'd like to create in 2016. Just raise your hand if you have some small thought, okay? Now, if you don't, think about some goal you've had in the past. Think about something that's going to elevate who you are, okay? So with your visualization, how many of us, life just goes like this? Not at all, right? So if you've got your visualization, or maybe it's going to be like this, right? And you want to be able to just go straight to that goal. How many times does that happen? Never, right? So allow some fluctuation. Yeah, allow the flow, because the flow is beautiful. The flow is what creates the ability to really embrace what we're doing. It gives us higher moments and lower moments. It gives us learning, a learning curve so that we can learn and flow with it. And the next step is to accept your plan. Now, if you've got something that's going on and you've got this goal and you're like, okay, I'm ready to do this. I'm ready to embrace it. I'm ready to go forward with it. But you don't consciously accept the goal, do you think you're going to make it? Probably not. And that's one of the hard things. When I was learning this lesson, it took me about a year to accept one of the goals that I had. And the acceptance was hard. It was hard for me to accept that this is the goal I wanted. And it was a very rational goal. It wasn't out of this world. But sometimes we don't feel, like Kelly says, we don't feel good enough. We don't feel like we're worth it. We don't feel like we can achieve it. We don't feel like we can actually accept what we're wanting to bring into our life. So with your mental game here that's going on, allow the good side of you, not the vicious bee, to actually work on bringing you forward to the accepting of the goal. Okay, so acceptance is the next one. And then you want to integrate this visual into your mind. A lot of times when they talk about the Olympics and they talk about athletes, when they're actually practicing, before they practice, they'll visualize it and visualize it. They'll go over it and over it and over it. They know details. They know exactly which way they're going to move. They know their breath. They know everything about this goal. So that's the next step, is to really take in the acceptance and the integration. So you're going to integrate your goal into your heart and your mind. Now this is the part where when I'm coaching, I use frequencies. And so we want to bring in higher frequencies. When I do frequencies, they are 0 to 1,000, and 0 to 200 are the lower frequencies. They're kind of the muck, kind of stuff we don't want. For my book that I'm thinking of writing, it would be kind of good to get a little bit of a feedback. It's going to be called The Unsucky Life, How to Get Your Butt Out of a Rut. And you know, that's really kind of where sometimes we fall. We fall into those ruts, and that's that 0 to 200 in the frequencies. Frequencies from 200 to 400 are they're choices, they're options. So you might be in a situation, and that split moment when you have that thought, it's like, oh my word, am I going to choose a higher path or am I going to choose the lower path? You think of little kids, you can see this happening in their brains if they, get caught doing something, and you're like, excuse me, I just caught you. No, I didn't do that, right? So they choose that lower path, and you see that happening in their brains. We still have that. Sometimes it's a little faster, and it comes so quickly. But when we get that option to choose the lower frequencies or the higher frequencies, that's when we can really embrace our dreams. So 400 to 1,000 are the altruistic type frequencies. They're the ones that help balance out the negative ones. So when we're in a session, then we're balancing out the negative sessions or frequencies with the higher frequencies. Mother Teresa lived in the 600s pretty much all the time, 6 to 800s. 800s are more nurturing. And so we have those abilities, and we have the ability to be able to bring in a higher feeling of where we're at. Okay, as far as the intelligences, I, like Kelly, was raised LDS, and I believe that we were intelligences, then we were spirits, and then we came down here and we got a body. And so when we are working with the intelligences, you can call them learning styles, you can call them anything that you want, where you've got that intelligence going on within you. That is a place that brings in the light. It brings in the higher power. So you've got personalities and you have intelligences. Hopefully I'm not going too deep here. But with the personalities, you've heard the color code, red, yellow, white, blue, or the DSIC. And as you work with the different personalities and you get to know those personalities, then you get to know yourself better. The intelligences are very similar, where you have your learning styles, how you learn, how you do different things. And so bringing those intelligences in helps to be able to raise you to a higher level, okay? So turning on your intelligences are good. And sometimes it's like, well, how do you turn on an intelligence, right? How do you increase your personality? How do you do that? Well, magic, right? Magic is amazing because you see it, you think it, you say it, you act it, you believe it, and you do it. The action, we turn it to physical. Okay, part of the intelligence's job too is to clear out blockages. So sometimes we have inhibitors, and those inhibitors are things that come in, and we're going along, we're going ahead, we're doing our goal, and we're really excited, and then boom, for no reason at all, we just stop. We just stop, except for Kelly, of course. But so as we're going, most people have those inhibitors. They come up. And that's what the intelligences help to remove. We remove those blockages. And we remove the mental blockages and the heart blockages. And when we remove those inhibitors, then we can move forward. So I have three different topics here. There's faith in believing. I want to talk a little bit about faith. As far as personalities go, I am a yellow, which is super fun and exciting. But I learned over time, I was in high school, and there was this super sexy, awesome, incredibly blonde, tall basketball player that I was totally in love with. And it was a girl's choice, and I went up to him and I just asked him. I was just, kind of a Kelly move. I just went up and said, hey, you want to go to girl's choice with me? And he looked at me and he said, are you kidding me? Have you seen your grades? I was like, have you seen my grades? He said, you know what? I want a wife that looks just like you, but that has brains. And he turned around and he walked away. And being the yellow personality, I was like, okay, I can deal with this. I can handle it. I can move on. So after that, of course, I had to kind of figure out in life why things work. I had to take on the white personality a little bit more. And it was difficult for me because they're boring and they're analytical and they're like, they know all the numbers and they know why and they know all this. So it's when I present, I try to bring in both, but sometimes I get a little too analytical because of my huge fear of being blonde, right? I'm just blonde and blondes are stupid. But no offense here. Of course, all the blondes in the room, you are the most brilliant. But so when I embrace my yellow personality, faith comes so easily. It's just like faith is air. It's just there. It just happens. And so when I want something, I just say, okay, well, I need this. And then I go for it. And then it's like God just says, okay, here you go, Kris. Here it is. Here it is. I had a sticky situation in my life about in March. And I was counseled to move out of my home. And I had $2,000. That's it. And I had no credit. I just had, I've been doing this business, but I've been doing it, with my husband. And he's pretty much the provider. And I was like, okay, well, my credit kind of is his credit. And I don't know how they're going to, look at this, when I want to rent. So I went to the rental company and I said, this is the house I want, because it was only like 4 minutes from my real house. And I said, I will give you 4 months payment. I'll give you a full deposit, whatever those things are called for cleaning. And then I will give you the $500 you want because we have a little puppy and we're kind of having a custody battle over him right now. And so I had $2,000. It was more like $1,900. And that was on a Monday. And Friday, I go to the company. I give them $6,000. I move in. I have all these people move me in. And we're there. Boom. Just like that. I had no idea where that other $4,000 was going to come from. It just happened. It just came. And so that's my faith. That's my faith level. And people are like, how do you do that? And so what I'm wanting to do here is try to teach you how do you do this faith movement. And if there's yellows in the room, you already get it. You totally know what I'm talking about. but it's the other personalities that are like, that doesn't make sense. How did you do that? So faith and believing, I just want to do a little thing here. When you have God, you have self, and then I like to put over here sunrises, but it's really kind of more like you just have faith that you know that there's nature, that there's life, that life is happening. But sunrises are easy to think about because we know every morning the sun is going to rise. That's an easy thing to have faith in, right? Over here we have self. And like we said, Kelly said, we've got the negative here, and then we have the positive here. And we've got to bring this whole self up here because we already know that the sun's going to rise, and he has that under control. So as we do our triangle here, we have the ability to connect in with God's will. We have the ability to say, and you can call this your higher power, you can call this whatever you want, I call it God. But as you do that, there's got to be a power that's higher than me, right? If there's not a power that's higher than me, how am I going to get to a place that's more advanced than I am right now? Through my wisdom? Yeah, you can. His name was Steve. You can ask Steve. He probably doesn't think that. Anyway, so what we want to do is focus on our relationship in this arena. And when we say self, we've got this going on, and we need this, and then we just put it out into the universe. And that's when we jump. We're on the ledge, and we jump. The next part is, so we want to believe that the process is actually happening. So if you're going to, so the first one was faith in believing, and the second one is believing in faith. And believing in faith is belief that the process is going to happen. I have my cards out of order. I have this, I love Bob Proctor. This is my book that I've had for forever. You can tell how used it is. And there's two different things that I'd like to read. So the first one is One and Only You. Every single blade of grass and every flake of snow is just a wee bit different. There's no two alike, you know. From something small like grains of sand to each gigantic star, all were made with this in mind, to be just what they are. How foolish then to imitate, how useless to pretend, since each of us comes from a mind whose ideas never end. There'll only be just one of me to show what I can do, and you should likewise feel very proud. There's only one of you. That is where it all starts, with you, a wonderful, unlimited human being. And that's James T. Moore in Bob Proctor's book. I forgot the title, but it's his free one. And in his book, there's a definition of faith. And as a yellow, when I read this, we have the scriptures and the different things that tell us what faith is. But when I read this, it resonated. Okay, so I'll read it. So if you want to write it down, faith is the ability to see the invisible, and that's what Kelly was talking about. Is like she knows that something's going to happen. She calls it magic, right? So it's the faith in the ability to see the invisible and believe in the incredible. And that is what enables the believers to receive what the masses think is impossible. Okay, the next part is hope in achieving. I've coined a phrase, it's called a hopetimist. If you'd like to borrow it, you can go ahead. So I am a hopetimist. And you allow yourself to get happy, and you allow yourself to be emotional, and you allow yourself to find the joy. When you find these things within yourself, you are being a hopetimist. And the definition of hope is a feeling of expectation and desire for the certain thing to happen. So you're basically accepting and expecting that you're going to achieve this. The next part is achieving in hope. How do you achieve hope? So the first one was hope in achieving, because we want to achieve. And then how do we achieve hope, right? Let yourself think about it for a minute and think about your desire again. So I want everybody to bring that feeling back into their hearts, bring it back up, whatever feeling that was that you were feeling. Allow the energy to come in, allow it to raise your energy, and allow that feeling of gratitude to come up. And when that feeling of gratitude comes up, you are actually achieving hope. So allow that to come in and bring that up inside of you. I'm gonna deviate a little bit. The next one is charity in receiving, and we're gonna talk about receiving. But what I want you to do is everybody got a rock when you first came in. Did everybody get a rock? A little pebble. So get your pebbles out. And when my daughter, she just walked out, but my daughter said, "Mom, you're going to give everybody a rock?" And I said, "Yeah." And she says, "What happens if they throw it at you?" So please don't throw the rocks at me. That's okay. And so her thing is she said, "You know what, Mom? Maybe you should give everybody a rose without the thorns. Because then if they throw the roses at you, you can feel the love." So that was super cute. So what I want you to do is, everybody needs to stand up again. And we're going to do a very similar thing that we did earlier, but I want you to hold the rock in your hand. And the rock is a way for your brain to actually have something to hold on to, something that says, this is a reminder. Now, in The Secret, I don't know if you remember, but the man was down by the river. He picked up the rock, and he put the pebbles on his desk, and then he said, and then he put them in his pocket every morning. And every time that he would feel the pebbles, then he would feel that gratitude. He would remember to be grateful. So I want you to take the pebbles, and I want you to take your emotion. And I want to go from gratitude, and then I want to go to a deeper emotion. So we can go to charity, we could go to hope, we could go to faith, we can go to something where that emotion is building a little bit deeper. So I want you to take that rock, kind of get it in your hands, give it some love, and then I want you to hold the rock right here toward your heart. Okay, you guys are doing so good. You're good students, good students. Okay, now what I want you to do is, as you feel this feeling, you can go ahead and close your eyes if you want, and we're going to do a visualization. We're going to take that feeling, and we're going to allow that feeling to rise up to your mind. Just go straight up the back of your neck, the top part of your spinal cord, and move it to your mind. So allow that energy to come in from the heart, go up to the mind, and then when you feel that it's there and it's encapsulating that whole beautiful brain, because everyone in here is brilliant, when it's encapsulating that whole brain, I want you to allow it to go down the spinal cord. So allow that gratitude, love, charity, let it go down the spinal cord. I worked out of a chiropractor's office for a couple of years, and he would give me the clients that weren't succeeding. And in my profession, I teach what's called foot zoning, and that's what I was doing in the office, and I would work the spine. And as I worked that spine, I learned so many things about the different nerves that come out of the spine and how it correlates to every different part in our body. So as this feeling is moving down the spine, you're actually sending energy to the entire body because you're moving it through the nervous system. So now allow that feeling to come down and just go out your feet and your hands, and then allow it to come back in and up over the top of your head. So if you can do this, if you picked up on this, this is a way to get rid of inhibitors. This is the way to utilize your intelligences and get rid of a block. So what I want you to do is I want you to send that energy now to any place in your body that feels out of alignment. Like the sleeping section. Let's turn the sleeping section off and then we'll wake up. I wish we had, like I could pause and we could dance and do some music because I'm a dancer, but not really. I don't dance. So allow that to circle and bring it back up and bring it into your body so that you're feeling that energy move within your body. Okay, so really quickly we're going to just do, when we have anatomy, we have physical bodies, right? And when we look at an anatomy book, does it look the same as we look like here? No, it doesn't, does it? So we've got the heart, we've got the liver, we've got all the different parts of the body. With energy, we have the same different thing. With emotions, we have a different way of describing emotions. We have the energy, we have what's called chakras. And chakras move up the center of the body, and they go in a figure 8, like this. And those chakras are actually connected to different parts in your body too, just like the nerve endings. And we have meridians, where the meridians, this is the Chinese medicine, that run up and down your body. And they are actually have the ability to bring out blockages and things within the physical body. So that's what we're doing. We're moving that energy to different areas, and then your chakras and meridians, your arc level, those things are going to help to clear out the inhibitors. Okay, you can go ahead and sit down now. Okay, so the last step is, so the first is faith in believing, the second is hope in achieving, and the third is charity in receiving. Okay, if there's so many people on the planet that just want to serve, right? It's like, no, I'm much better if I just serve. I'll serve, I'll serve, I'll serve, I'll serve. What would happen if the people that were serving didn't have anyone to serve? What happened if nobody received? Then we wouldn't be able to serve, right? So serving and receiving come from the same part of your heart. There's givers and takers, and there's servers and receivers. So what we want to do is open up the serving and receiving in our hearts. A lot of times we don't make our goals because we don't want to receive. We're like, no, I can only serve. But when you have those firm boundaries, Kelly was talking about boundaries, as you bring those boundaries up and you serve the people that you should be serving that aren't takers, but you're serving receivers, then you're allowing yourself to receive also. And when you open up that love for receiving, you'll be able to actually manifest your goal a lot easier. So this is the way to do that, is just to open up this energy field like we just did, and bring in love, the charity, and the open mind, and be able to bring in the ability to receive. Okay. I feel like I should have went first because Kelly was so on fire. Okay. So when we do the inhibitors, I call them roadblocks, blockages, whatever you want to call them. That's one of the main reasons people come to me, is because they want their blockages removed. And they want to know, how do I get past this? How do I move to the other side of it? And when we were talking earlier about our goal, so here's our goal, and it's we're allowing the flow, and it's moving forward, and sometimes we do really well, and then sometimes we hit. And we hit this place, we have blockages that we want to be able to get out, and we want to be able to slowly move and come back up so that we've got more of that thing. I'm not an artist, as you can tell. So on this part up here, we've got our truth. We have authentic. We have honor. We have our faith path. This is our core values. And then down here are the things that are our ego. I don't know if you've heard, like, Oprah and those people, they talk about, spirit versus ego. And this is the dark, or the, what did you call it, Kelly? The vicious bee? Is that what you said? Vicious bee. So this is kind of the dark side. We've got Darth Vader going on in our worlds here with Star Wars. And different deceit, so lies, and lack of motivation, where you just stop. So what we're trying to do here is we want to be able to minimize these things where we just drop down. We want to be able to minimize that, and we want to be able to stay within that flowing pattern. So the exercise that I had you do, if you do that every morning when you turn on your music channel, and you're tuning in your positive, you're jumping in the shower, and you've got your gratitude going on, and you're grateful for the water, and you're grateful for all this stuff, you want to be able to allow that gratitude to move through your body and then back out. Now, the key to this, because we're talking about receiving, right? The key is when you get all ready and you interact with another person, you give them part of that gratitude. You give to them, another receiver, and that brings in this abundance at 10, 100-fold, okay? So the gratitude shower, and then bring the gratitude in, take it to your mind, down the spinal cord, out through your feet, fill it through your whole entire body, bring it back in, and then go give it to someone, okay? It's pretty simple, but it's magical. And it's something that when you're rocking your 2016, it will actually be something that is definitely surprising. You'll find that it's surprising. Okay, I'm just about finished. How am I on time? What time is it? Okay, we're doing good. Okay, so with the papers, I'm actually doing a group mentoring that I'm offering tonight. And I wanted to share with you a little story about one of my clients. He is a producer for Disney, and he lives in Miami. And I would much rather have come here and just shared client stories with you. That would have been so much more fun. But I knew that you needed meat and potatoes. I knew that I had to show up with the analytical stuff so that you could take something away. So hopefully you take the takeaway and you actually use it. So his name's Silvio, and he is Italian, raised in Brazil, working in Miami, okay? And so he's got all three languages going on. And he is so funny. He uses the F word a lot. So we're in session, and I know when he's having a bad day because sometimes the F word the other words aren't very coherent. And so it's a lot of that. And one day I said, Silvio, I'm not quite sure why you use the F word so much. What's going on with that? And he said, well, when you're learning your third language, you have times where your mind goes blank. You have spots. And he was embarrassed to be able to have a pause because his brain was working on trying to translate Italian or whatever Brazilian is, translate that to the English language. So he'd just throw in the F word. And then by the time the F word came out, he'd be able to click into the correct word that he needed. And so I was like, well, that makes perfect sense. But in America, we kind of don't use that, as much in business and stuff like that. And so we kind of worked on that. And it was really cute. There's a fun story. He was here in Utah, and he was at a recording studio, and it was it was a religious piece. And his friend said, now Silvio, when you come into the studio, we're not going to use the F word. This is a place where we don't use it because everyone here is very religious. And so we're going to go ahead and not say the F word. And he's like, okay, I got it. So he coached him on it for like probably an hour. He's like, he just kept telling me, I'm not going to use that word. I'm not going to use it. And he's like, I did so good, Kris. I did so good. And I was like, awesome. And he said, but then I messed up. And I said, what happened? And he said, well, they played the rendition of this beautiful music, and I was so touched, and I just wanted Jesus in my life right then. And I just thought I could see him coming from the sky. It was so touching. And I just stood up and I said, that was effing awesome. And the whole studio went silence, silence. And the friend he was with, he was like, remember, we had a discussion about this. So that's kind of his personality, and I just love his socks. I love everything about him. He's just amazing. And when we're working in these types of environments, it's safety. There's no judgment. I don't judge Kelly for what she's going through. I don't judge Silvio for his F words. And one of the cool things is Silvio and I were about maybe a month and a half to 2 months into our sessions. And he's the type that you give him some instruction, and he's very similar to Kelly, where he just does it. He's just on it. He's like, okay, I'm done. I got that. I'm doing it for the next week. The next week we come on. He's on to the next thing, and he's just progressing. And I love those type of clients. He's very dynamic. He has a dynamic character. And one day he was kind of quiet, and he said, Kris, I have something to share with you. And I said, what, Silvio? And he said, well, I want you to know that over the past month, I've had some character changes in me. I've had some awarenesses and some wake-ups. And I want you to know that because of our sessions, remember, I don't know if I told you in the beginning, but I'm only the instrument, right? I'm not the product. I'm not what happens. But after our sessions for this past month, I've decided that I no longer want to kill myself. In all that month and a half of sessions with him, I never knew that was something that he was even considering. So we don't know. We don't know where people stand. We don't know where they are. And he says, Kris, I'm ready to live life. I'm ready to go forward. I'm ready to take things to the next level. I'm ready for my personal power. I'm ready to go, and I'm ready to rock it. And that's just what he did. And it's so phenomenal when we don't know where the person sitting next to you is in life. We don't know, because we all put on this beautiful smile. We put on the way that we can go out and create. I want you to know that this is hard for me to be in front of you today, because I'm the heaviest I've been in 4 years. In 4 years. I was this weight 4 years ago, and I had this little program going on for the 10 years before that. I could eat anything I wanted, and I would just stay at this weight that I'm at right now. And so I just ate anything I wanted, but I never lost weight. Well, finally I woke up and I said, I don't want to be this way anymore. And I lost 30 pounds. And through the past 4 years, through different difficult circumstances, the weight has come back on. And so today I'm standing here very vulnerable in front of you, because I had to go to the store and I had to buy bigger clothes. And I'm standing here, I don't want to tell you my size. I mean, I guess I can, but because some of you might think it's big and some of you might think it's not. But I'm standing here in a size 12 pants, and I had to go to the store to buy them because I didn't have any clothes in my closet that would fit me. And so when I went to the store, I took one of my friends with me, and she just coached me through it. She helped me. We picked out the outfit, and I said, the reason that I'm here in front of these people and I'm going to be vulnerable is because I'm ready for a change. I'm ready for that next level. Whatever that looks like for me physically, whether I stay the same weight and I get healthier, or whatever it is. I exercise at least 5 times a week. I have a really healthy diet, but I have this much stress, and beyond. And every day I wake up, I turn in my channel, and I try to bring in that happiness, and every day we keep going forward. So the reason that I share that with you is because I want you to know that I'm real. Sometimes when I bring in this analytical and it gets kind of a little deep, people are like, is she for real? And then Kelly makes me out to be this amazing person. But remember, I'm just the instrument. I'm the instrument that this coaching and this mentoring and that all of this goes through. So I just want to let you know that with the flyer, I am, that price was $297. and I'm lowering it $100 for tonight, so it's $197. It's for the next 4 months. It's starting February 11th, and we'll be meeting 2 times a month. We'll have 2 coaching calls, and then we'll have a Facebook place where we can ask questions, just a private group. And I'm open to different ideas if there's specific things that you need. But what this is going to be it's going to be mentoring in a group, but you're going to be able to actually release these inhibitors. We're actually going to spend time visualizing and meditating. So it's quite a bit different from any other mentoring group things that are out there. And I just put the price on there as that's the bottom line price. A lot of times people will pay $5,000, $10,000, $15,000 for this kind of stuff. That's not where my heart is. That's not what I want. You know, I just want to be able to pay the rent kind of thing. So I want you to understand that I am safe. This is open, and I'd love to invite you to that if you'd like that. I also do personal sessions too, but I'm working more towards the group coaching. Okay, so that's where I am with that. Actually, I'm finished, and I wanted to just thank you all for being here, and I hope that you receive something out of it. And
can I just say something real quick?
Yes.
So most of our pain in life, any physical pain that we have, is tied to an emotion. I didn't know that. But the reason I found out about her is my sister had physical pain. She was having gallbladder pain. She went and met with Kris, and she identified the emotion that was tied to the gallbladder pain, and the gallbladder pain went away. So whatever pain or physical pain you might have in your life, emotional pain, she'll identify it, and she'll release it, and your life will change completely. She's the most wonderful woman I know. So you guys all need to know her. I can't tell you how many people I have sent to her, probably 30, 40, life changer. And anyway, I love you. You did a great job.
Thank
and
you.
Can I intro Nate next?
That would be great. I have one
Okay.
little thing to say. So if any of you are friends with her and she's like, oh, you need Kris, if you get even to a little tiny bit of a personal conversation with her, you need Kris, and I'll pay for her. I'll pay.
I know, I like to do that because she changed my life so much that you need to know her because she's unbelievable. She has the biggest heart, and she saved my life. She really did. So thank you. I love you.